But I did have an eventful day in terms of like just being here at the house. I had another conversation with the police today. Very productive call with the police. They are, without saying too much, they're just really interested. They gave me some updates. I was very happy with the updates I got. They asked me a few more things. They kind of let me know what was next. And there we go. So that's moving forward, which is cool. You know, I would, 2.5 months ago, if someone would have said, hey, going to talk to the cops twice in less than a week, I would have said, well, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. Doesn't sound like a good time. Then somebody sent me a clip today of somebody having a really hard time coping with the consequences of their behavior. And, little word to the wise, if you're going to be someone who's going to accuse everyone of being a liar or a phony or anything else, and you're projecting and you're wrong, you probably shouldn't be a lying, filthy piece of shit. Just a tip. You don't have to take it. I mean, after all, it would only be productive. And I don't think that that they would be into that. But I saw that clip. That was great. I laughed really hard at that. And then I was watching something just before the show started. This is why I try not to click on too many like shitverse clips or anything like that, because we're not in that. They try to pull us in because we're a bigger show and they can kind of get some reach out of it. But really, we're kind of an independent. We're a pirate ship here at Steel Toe. We kind of go off and do our own thing. We talk about this. We talk about that. And I think that causes a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of envy. But, it's hard not to click on those sometimes because that group of people is just so retarded and they take everything so seriously. I was watching a clip before the show because I like Kevin Brennan. I think Kevin's really funny. Kevin's the best one out of that whole group. And Kevin is watching a clip of this nobody. This guy, it's another one of these guys that does a Red Bar impression. It's another one of these guys that tries to do a poor Mike David. And it's so painful to watch because you can tell he's so clearly, there's nothing worse than inventing beef because your channel's too small, like Patrick did with us, right? Patrick had nobody watching. He had no subscribers. He had to grab somebody bigger than him and just kind of ride along. And that's what he's been doing with us. And this other guy was doing that same thing. Like you have no reason to talk about this person. They don't know you. You don't really come across their mind. Nothing. But you have to latch on. It's kind of a dishonest, hacky thing to do. That's why they call it the Hackverse, I think. Well, there's this guy, Dan. And this guy, Dan, was talking about Kevin Brennan for no reason other than he was hoping he would get Kevin Brennan's attention. I have no problem with people doing that for that reason if they admit it. If they just admit their insecurity and they go, look, I'm desperate. I really want to get more eyes on my product, so I am completely inventing a thing with Kevin Brennan, a guy who wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire. That I would respect, because at least that's honest. I think in many ways, John from Win by 2 does that. John from Win by 2 goes like, yeah, I'm going to talk about these guys because it can get me attention. He's a whore, but I think he's an honest whore. This guy acts like he has something to say about Kevin Brennan. Kevin put it on his show, and I swear to God, I'm only going to play this for you for a minute or so, because it's one of the most unlistenable things I've ever watched. Like, I know when Keanu's clips came out about the April thing, like Kino Casino was on there going, this is the most unlistenable thing I've ever seen. And I was watching a video of Kino Casino and Keanu going back and forth and going at it. And by the way, Kino Casino triggering the shit out of a lot of talk show hosts lately. But Keanu and them were going back and forth. So this Dan guy, and this Dan guy is also in a bunch of people's super chats. He's in a bunch of people's chats trying to send them a couple of bucks. Like, I think he does it with Chad and some other people to, again, try to get himself some attention. You could, novel idea, put on a compelling product. But I guess that waved bye-bye a long time ago. So he did this thing where he talked about Kevin, and he got Big Kev to respond, which is interesting. Let's take a look.
That's your whole thing. Times, and then read the super chats. You just turn on, throw on a clip, say wow a couple of times, and then
first of all, anybody who insults the Kevin Brennan wow has taken the nation by storm. It's a sensation. So if you don't get wow, go for yourself. You don't belong here. Also, it's just, what is it about the Red Bar imitators that they think, these guys seem to think that the thing that makes Mike David good is that he talks really slow and draws everything out. Stop it. That's not what, so all these guys talk really slow, repeat things 4 times, and try to be as low energy as possible. Ugh.
read the super chats, count the money, and you go, and
I gotta read them by law.
I gotta read them by law. They all these guys, like, guys like this Dan, and I'm not saying this is the case, but they all talk like their mom's in the next room and they can't make too much noise. Either that or they're just incredibly boring.
Have to read the super chats by law.
By law.
You do that, and that's your whole thing. And you say, Rob Saul ain't got no money. Pat Dixon ain't got no money. Gino ain't got no money. Wow.
These guys are trying so hard to get my attention. Pat
Right.
Dixon tried all weekend. I ignored him. And then I finally was like, all right, Pat, I'll respond. Then he goes, you reactive bitch. I was like, Pat, you've been tweeting at me for the last 24 hours.
Kevin's 100% right on that shit. Like, all these ankle biters try to go at him and, like, say shit about him and say shit about him. Then when you go, what is it, sweetie? When you're real condescending and you put them in their place, they go like, oh, I got you to respond. You're just like, I'm dealing with amateurs. It's amateur hour over here. That's what happens with this show, too. People will scream for my attention, and I'll go, God, you're my favorite lolcow. Boy, I'm in your head constantly. They go, oh, I got you to respond. And I'm like, boy, nothing gets past this guy. He saw that I responded. It's like, you spend your free time trying to get my attention. Then I grace you with it, and you act like a zoo animal. I guess that's a win? No. It's a win for the toe.
Now this guy, now he's like, Brennan, and I've never met them. I guess I was on their show one time, but now he's going after me to get my attention. Good, you got it. Let's all watch together.
All right, we don't need to watch any more of that. That's what I was watching before the show, just wasting my time. And, like, do you know how boring of a personality you have to be that Kevin Brennan shitting on you isn't entertaining?